should fall for grace of God, where no doctor can relieve me, if I'm buried beneath the sod, but the angels won't receive me. Let me go, boys, let me go, boys. Let me go down in the mud where the rivers all are dry. This land was always ours, was the proud land of our fathers. It belongs to us and them, not to any of the others. Let them go, boys, let them go, boys. Let them go down in the mud where the rivers all are dry.
The sweeteth I, haroo, haroo. When going the road, the sweeteth I, haroo, haroo. When going the road, the sweeteth I, a stick in my hand and a drop in me eye, a doleful damsel I her cry, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, the enemy nearly slew ya. Oh darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
Where are the eyes that look so mild, haroo, haroo? Where are the eyes that look so mild, haroo, haroo? Where are the eyes that look so mild when my poor heart you first beguiled? Why did you run from me and the child, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, the enemy nearly slew ya. Oh darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
Where are the legs with which you run, haroo, haroo? Where are the legs with which you run, haroo, haroo? Where are the legs with which you run when first you went to carry a gun? Indeed your dancing days are done, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, the enemy nearly slew ya. Oh darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
You haven't an arm, you haven't a leg, haroo, haroo. You haven't an arm, you haven't a leg, haroo, haroo. You haven't an arm, you haven't a leg, you're an eyeless, boneless, chickenless egg. You'll have to be left with a bowl to beg, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, haroo, haroo. We hear drums and guns and guns and drums, the enemy nearly slew ya. Oh darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny I hardly knew ya.
But I'm happy for to see you home, haroo, haroo. Yes, I'm happy for to see you home, haroo, haroo. Oh, I'm happy for to see you home, all from the island of Ceylon. So low in flesh, so high in bone, Johnny I hardly knew ya. With your drums
and guns and guns and drums, hurroo, hurroo. With your drums and guns and guns and drums, hurroo, hurroo. With your drums and guns and guns and drums, the enemy never slew ya.
Oh,
Darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya.
Who says that the old songs can still make you think, eh? The news from Moidart, come your stream, will soon guard many fairly, for ships of war have just come in and landed Royal Charlie. Come through the heather around and gather, you're all welcome early. Around and cling, we are your kin, for all be king but Charlie. The Highland clans with sword in hand, but John a Groats the early, up to a man declared to stand, for Royal Charlie. Come through the heather around and gather, you're all welcome early. Around and cling, we are your kin, for all be king but Charlie. The lowlands all be great and small, we many's the lord and laird, he declared for Scotia's king and law. Aye, and what do you think but Charlie? Come through the heather around and gather, you're all welcome early. Around and cling, we are your kin, for all be king but Charlie. There's ne'er a lass in all the land but vows be late and early. To man shall ne'er gie heart nor hand, would the fecht for Charlie. Come through the heather around and gather, you're all welcome early. Around and cling, we are your kin, for all be king but Charlie. Then here's a health to Charlie's cause, and beat complete and early. His very name our heart's blood warms, to arms for Royal Charlie. Come through the heather around and gather, you're all welcome early. Around and cling, we are your kin, for all be king but Charlie. Come through the heather around and gather, come Ronald, come Donald, come all together, declaring rightful lawful king, for all be king but Charlie.
Roshedava Hawalya, Roshedava Hawalya, Roshedava Hawalya, and Mishar Hutton Towering,
Sé the mahaban balin was the bay or grash to be in ye vingal new hebra self melach to deal the lish na gauliv. Oh, Roshin of Ahawalia, oh, Roshin of Ahawalia, oh, Roshin of Ahawalia. And this shall hunt them towly. Agran you wail a trill hard soilja, oglig arm hallei mal harda, galit feines ni golna Spanje. Skorfid roiker gauliv. Oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia. And Michel Hopton Towling. A wheel arena vat go vecchim, ein och björn i den schakten, ran ju väl goes mila goskjok. A fågel final howliv. Oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia. And this shall have them towering. Oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia, oh, Roshé the Bahawalia. And this shall have them towering.
Last night, as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, me mind been bent on rambling to Ireland I did fly. I stepped on board a vision, I followed with the wind, when next I came to anchor at the cross at Spansel Hill. On the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, when Ireland's sons and daughters, friends assemble there, the young, the old, the brave and the bold, came their duty to fulfill at the parish church at Cluny, a mile from Spansel Hill. I paid a flying visit to my first and only love. She's as white as Annie Lily, gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me, saying, Johnny, I love you still. As she's Ned, the farmer's daughter, and the bride of Spansel Hill. I dreamt I held and kissed her, as in the days of yore. Ah, Johnny, you're only joking, as many a time before, when the cock he crew in the morning, sure he crew both loud and shrill. When I woke in California, many miles from
Oh, farewell, the streets of sorrow, and farewell, you streets of pain. I'll not return to feel more sorrow, nor to see more young men slain. Through the last 6 years I've lived through terror, and in the darkened streets the pain. Oh, how I long to find some solace. In my mind I curse the strain. So farewell, you streets of sorrow, and farewell, you streets of pain. No, I'll not return to feel more sorrow, nor to see more young men slain.
There were 6 men in Birmingham and Guildford, there's 4 that were picked up and tortured and framed by the law. And the folk get promotion, but they're still doing time for being Irish in the wrong place and at the wrong time. In Ireland they'll put you away in the maze. In England they'll keep you for 7 days. God help you if ever you caught on these shores. The coppers need someone and they walk through that door. You'll be counting years, first 5 and 10, growing old in a lonely house, round the yard in the stinking cell, from wall to wall and back again. Cursing the judges, the coppers and screws, who tortured the innocent wrongly accused. For a price of promotion and justice to serve, may the judge be the judges when they rock down his hell. You'll be counting years, first 5 and 10, growing old in a lonely hell, round the yard in a lousy soul, from wall to wall and back again. Of the empire, they awaken their birds and sweat as they count out the sins in their heads. While over in Ireland they marmon like dead, kicked down and shut in the back of the head. You'll be counting years, first 5 and 10, growing old in a freezing hell, round the yard in the lousy cell, from wall to wall and back again. Counting years, first 5 and 10, growing old in a lonely hell, round the yard in a lousy cell, from wall to wall and back again.
There were 3 men came out of the west, their fortunes for to try. And these 3 men made a solemn vow, John Barleycorn must die. They ploughed, they sowed, they harrowed him in throwing clods upon his head. And these three men made a solemn vow John Barleycorn was dead. They let him lie for a very long time till the rain from heaven did fall. Then little Sir John threw up his head and so amazed them all. They let him stand till the midsummer day, till he grew both pale and wan. Then little Sir John grew a great long beard and so became a man. They hired men with scythes so sharp to cut him off at the knee. They rolled him and tied him around the waist, serving him most barbarously. They hired men with sharp pitchforks to prick him to the heart, but the drover served him worse than that, for he bound him to a cart. They drove him around and around the field till they came upon a barn. And these three men made a solemn oath of poor John Barleycorn. They hired men with crabtree sticks to strip him skin from bone, but the miller he served him worse than that, for he ground him between two stones. There's little Sir John in a nut brown bowl, and there's brandy in the glass. But little Sir John in the nut brown bowl proved the strongest man at last. For the huntsman he can't hunt the fox, nor loudly blow his horn, and that tinker he can't mend kettle or pot without a little barleycorn.
First for Margaret. A man came riding out the west one wild and stormy day. He was tall, quiet and hungry, his eyes were smoky grey. He was lean across the hurdies, but his shoulders they were big, the terror o' the Hieland glens. That was a poetry kid.
He drum ho, he drum hey, that juktar, that come face
sky.
His sidekick was an older man, and oh, but he was mean. He was called the Midnight Ploughboy, he come frae Aberdeen. He'd 27 notches on his cromach, so they say, and he killed 1,000,000 Indians way up in Stornoway. Well, Portree booted in the door, he sauntered to the bar. He bought a shot of crabbies, he shouted Slangevar. While midnight was being chatted up by a barroom girl called Pam, who said, well, howdy, stranger, would buy the baby sham? Now over in the corner sat 3 men frae Ochtertool. They were playing games for money in a snakes and ladder school. The 4th man was a southerner who'd come up from McMurray. He'd been a river gambler on the Ballachulish ferry. He drum ho, he drum hey, that jukta that come frae sky. Does anyone here know this song? Portree walked to the table and he shouted, shake me in. He shugled on the egg cup, he gave the dice a spin. He threw 7 6s in a row and the game was nearly done. But then he landed on a snake and finished on square one. The game was nearly over and Portree was doing fine. He'd landed on a ladder, he was up to 49. He only had but 1 to go and the other man was beat. But the gambler coped the board up and shouted, you're a cheat. Men dive behind the rubber plants to try and save their skins. The accordionist stopped playing, his sidekick dropped the spoons. He says, I think it's funny you've been up that ladder twice, and your eye was done at the table when I go to throw my dice. He drum ho, he drum hey, the chukta that come frae sky. You okay now? Fine. The gambler drew his ski and do as fast as lightning speed. Portree grabbed a screw top, he cracked him o'er the head. Then he gave him laldy wi' a salmon off the wall and finished off the business wi' his lucky grousefoot's claw. Portree walked up to the bar, he says, I'll hae a half. And you like the way I stuck it on that wee McMurray naff? But the southerner crept up behind, his features racked with pain, and he gubbed him wi' an ashtray, made it a curling stain. Well, the fight went raging on all night till opening time next day, wi' a break for soup and stovies off a coronation tray. It was getting kind obvious that neither man would win when came the shout that stopped it all. There's a bus trip coming in. He drum ho, he drum hey, that chukta that come frae sky. They sing this song in Galashiels and up by Peterhead, way down o'er the border across the Rio Tweed. About what became of Portree, Midnight and the gambling man, they opened up a gift shop, selling fresh air in a can. He drum ho, he drum hey, that come
What we're going to do now then is another ballad, a Scots ballad. This one comes from the Orkney Islands in the north of Scotland. A ballad concerning a person called a seal man. Now, he's one of these legendary characters who is part seal and part man. When he's at sea, he's a seal, obviously. And when he's on land, he's a man. The unfortunate thing about this character is that, as a legend has it, I don't know if this is true, but as a legend has it, he can only mate when he's a man. So obviously he's got to come on land every so often to find some unsuspecting young village maiden. And he usually seduces her and leaves her bearing his offspring. He gets way back to sea as a seal, and usually his home at sea is in the Soul Skerry, out from the Orkney Islands. And he usually leaves his offspring to mature at maybe a year, a couple of years, and eventually he comes back to land in the shape of the man he once was, to claim his young son, usually giving the nurse, the young girl, a purse of gold for her nurse's fee, for her nourrice fee. The song is called The Great Silkie of Soul Skerry. Sits and sings, and she sings by the lily way. Little can I my Bernie's feather the land that he bides in. Then up come he to her bed fast, and grumly guest I'm sure was he, saying, here am I Bernie's father, although I may not comely be. I am a man upon the land, and I'm a silkie on the sea. And when I'm far and far from land, my
setet on the knee, saying, "Gae to me, my wee son, and you accept your nourish fee." It shall come to pass on a summer's day, when the sun shines bright on every stay, that I will take my wee son and learn him how to swim the Tay. And you will marry a proud gunner, and a rugged gunner I'm sure you'll be. And with a fast shot the day he fires, he'll kill me, my bonny son, and me.
This next piece of music is called The Lonesome Boatman. I'm going to play it for you on the flute. And I wrote a poem about it. I wrote the piece of music back in 1968. And I wrote a poem about it I was trying to write words about it actually for a long time. And I finally gave up because I couldn't get the words to fit the melody. Because every time I thought about the melody, I thought about it different. So what I did, I wrote this poem, and I called this poem Silent Annie. This was my sort of imagination of who the Lonesome Boatman was. So I'll do it for you. Oui. Oui. I saw which nearly broke my heart. A tramp lay dying in a park. I knelt beside him to hear him speak. The words he spoke, they were oh so weak. He told me a story of long since past, of his sailing ship with its long grey mast, of his captain's cap with its shining braid, and the wonderful voyages that he made. Silent Annie was his great ship's name. Like a token of love, he spoke her name. She sailed round the Horn, high more than once. She could cut through the waves like a sharpened lance. Believe me, he said, his eyes filled with tears, like a drunk on a corner trying to remember his years. He reached out his hand, and I took it in mine. I believe you, I said, and he gave a sad smile. I remember the day when they towed her away. Her sides they were sore from the sea's angered spray. They said she's unfit for to sail out once more, and he towed her more inward from her own sandy shore. And as he broke my silent Annie, I watched with a sigh. I remembered her beauty when I was a boy. She was my one love, my life's only dream, when we sailed out together as captain and queen. It started to drizzle, and I felt my hand tight, and he squeezed even harder as he ended the fight. And the crowd they had gathered, and he watched with dismay as the Mamlus men came and they took him away. So I got to my feet and I walked through that park. The sun, it was gone, but it was not yet dark. My body was wet, my clothes were not many, but my mind was aroused by his ship, Silent Annie. Lots of boatman. Thank you.
While in the merry month of May, now from me home I started, left the girls at Hume and nearly broken heart, saluted father dear, kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, me grief and tears are smothered enough to reap the corn, leave for I was born, caught a stout black tarn to banish ghosts and goblins, brand new pair of brogues to rat the love of the bogs, frighten all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin, 1 to 3 for 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, whack for Lally-ra. In Mullingar the blight arrested limb so weary, started by daylight this morning bright and nearly took a drop of the pure, keep me heart from sinking, that's the paddy's cure. When Aries up for drinking to see the lassie smile, laughing all the while at me curious style, to set your heart a bubbling, asked me was I hired, wages I required, till I was almost tired of the rocky road to Dublin, 1 to 3 for 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra. In Dublin next I ride, I thought it such a pity to be so soon deprived the view of that fine city. Then I took a stroll, all among the quality bundle it was told. When in a neat locality some did cross me mind, when I looked behind a bundle could I find upon me a wobble inquiring for the road, said me Connacht brogue it wasn't much in vogue, on the rocky road to Dublin, 1 to 3 for 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra. From there I got away, my spirits never failing, landed on the quay just as the ship was sailing. Captain at me roared, said the storeroom Harry, when I jumped aboard a cabin brown for a paddy. Down among the pigs, did some hearty rigs, a dance, some hearty jigs, the water round me bubbling when up Holyhead. Wished myself was dead, I bet the bar instead, on the rocky road to Dublin, 1 to 3 for 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra. Ah well, the boys of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called myself a fool. I could no longer stand it, blood began to boil. Temper I was losing, poor old Aaron's oil, oh they began. It was in haram, my soul says I'm a shillelagh, I'll fly. Galway boys were buying, saw I was a hobbleton with a loud hooray. Join in the affray, quickly clear the way for the rocky road to Dublin, 1 to 3 for 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the ways to Dublin, back for Lally-ra.
The island, it is silent now, but the ghosts still haunt the waves. And a torch lights up a famished man who fortune could not save. Did you work upon the railroads? Did you ride the streets of crime? Were your dollars from the White House? Were they from the 5 and dime? Did the old songs start to cheer you? And did they still make you cry? Did you count the months and years? Or did your teardrops quickly dry? I know 15 was not to be on a coffin ship. I came here and I never even got so far that they could change my name. Thousands are sailing across the western ocean to a land of opportunity that some of them will never see. Fortune prevailing across the western ocean, their bellies full, their spirits free. They'll break the chains of poverty and they'll dance. In Manhattan's desert twilight, in the dead of afternoon, we stepped hand in hand on Broadway, like the first man on the moon. And a blackbird broke the silence as you whistled, it's so sweet. And in Brendan Behan's footsteps, I danced up and down the street. And we said goodnight to Broadway, giving it our best regards. Took our hats to Mr. Cohen, dear old Times Square's favorite bird. Then we raised a glass to JFK and a dozen more besides. When I got back to my empty room, I suppose I must have cried. Thousands are sailing again across the ocean. We're a hand of opportunity, just tickets in a lottery. Postcards were made
lend an ear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear what is right, what is wrong, by the law, what is right and what is wrong, by the law. What is right, what is wrong, the wicked man, the strong, the short sword and the long, for to draw, the short sword and the long, for to draw. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear what makes heroic strife, pain the part, what makes heroic strife, pain the part. What makes heroic strife to whet the assassin's knife and haunt the parent's life with bloody war, and haunt the parent's life with bloody war. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear. So let your schemes alone in the state, let your schemes alone in the state. Let your schemes alone adore the rising sun, and leave a man undone to his fate, and leave a man undone to his fate. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear, your doctrines I mun blame. You will hear.